Welcome to the Ultimate Insurance Agency Podcast, Planet of the Agents. Planet of the Agents. Where we give you the...
Welcome to another episode of Planet of the Agents. For those property and casualty agents out there and agency owners that want to grow your business. It's 2025 and there is still time left at the last half of the year and last quarter of the year to take your agency to the next level. Now, in today's episode, I want to talk about something that I consider very important. So what is this exhilarating topic that I'm talking about? Well, let me tell you, this is what I call technology clutter. What exactly is technology clutter? It's when you have too much tech, but not enough help from the tech. Now, I have attended recently at least 4 or 5 different conventions or insurance events, and one of the top focuses is technology. Now, technology is a broad encompassing concept. It can range from CRMs, automation tools, lead systems, AI, everything, AI. But after going to countless booths, countless vendors, countless presentations, and of course being bombarded constantly with a variety of emails, I can tell you that I don't think that most agents need an extreme amount of technology based on where they are at today. Now, again, I like to bring up the fact that I'm generally think that those of you out there are going to fall into what I like to call the common agency demographic, if you will. That means you have somewhere between 2 and 7 people at your agency. You might work with family. You have a tight-knit team in some respects. I don't think most of you who are listening to the show are working at agencies that have 2,000 to 5,000 employees, a full gym, certain things that you might see at some mega companies. So if you do fall into that category, technology might play a different role. But in my own anecdotal experience, I can tell you, I have friends who tell me things like, I just signed up for this new plugin to my CRM or my agency management system. It's only $500 a month. And I'll say, wow, $500 a month. Do you think it will generate you at least $6,000 of revenue in the year to break you even? And they'll tell me it's going to add automation. Automation. Let's say it again. Automation. Now, I love automation, especially in repetitive tasks. That's why I have created my own templates and strategies and systems that I persistently will use. And I'll mention a little bit more about where you can find some of those in a few moments. But the thing is, there is a minimum amount of technology that you need. You need some kind of client relation management system, a CRM, or an agency management system that integrates the key features of aggregating your client's data so you can access it in one spot. So that if you have a team or if you plan on having a team and plan on expanding, you can easily let them access the data. I get it. I understand it. But is there a point where you have too many products? Do you have too much technology that does not communicate with the other parts? Now, I understand also how this happens. A lot of it, I think, is FOMO. It's something like, oh, you don't have this new platform? Don't you know what it can do? If I don't adopt this, it's going to put me behind everybody else. Again, I get it. Why do I get it? Well, obviously, I'm a human being just like you are. And I have felt those things too when it comes to agency technology. But what I notice from some of the automation companies, some of the lead gen systems, and I don't mean people selling leads, I mean technology that's intended to make your phone ring and things of that nature, is that a lot of the tools are probably designed for larger agencies. People who can handle more phone calls, more emails, etc. If you're solo or you have limited staff, a lot of these tools can actually slow you down. I think of a friend that I have who is a one-man agency with one assistant, and that assistant might be part-time. This is a friend of mine, and everything I'm saying now is something that I have said to his face, or at least by telephone. Occasionally, a FaceTime, sure. The thing is, he will tell me that he found this new piece of technology that's really going to help his agency. And I will say, how will it help your agency? And he will say something like, oh, it's going to add these automations where it's going to contact and reach out to my clients. And I'm thinking he's talking about something like automated emails. And I say to him, okay, I understand. Are we talking about contacting them about their commercial renewals, which are agency bill, which require agency interaction, or are you talking about something else? And often he'll be talking about just other communications with the clients. And I'll ask him, what is your goal? What is the result that you expect to get from this? He's not always sure. So I will throw out the idea that it's going to make the phone ring, because most of the services provided by most insurance agencies cannot be done purely online. Yes, some carriers have service centers. They will cross-sell for you. They will provide general customer service. They will update mortgagees. They will provide ID cards for personal lines clients. For commercial clients, some have service centers as well. For surplus lines policies that are fully serviced by the agency, or other policies that are fully serviced by the agency, this will result in probably a phone call. I personally, generally speaking, prefer emails because it gives me time to look at the email, reflect on the situation, and analyze what needs to be completed. But what I'm noticing more and more in 2025 is the phone is ringing more. And I am going to do an episode about that afterwards. After this episode, very soon, next month or the month after, I will be discussing this topic. It is something I have directly noticed. It's very interesting to me. So what I'll say to him is, won't this actually increase the burden on you? Now, I understand the concept of cross-selling and wanting to do those things, but when you have a limited time in the day, now people will say, Dave, there's 24 hours in the day. And I'll say, yes, I'm pretty sure that you like to use a few of those to sleep. Maybe you want to eat and perhaps do some exercise. Who knows? Get crazy. Do something that isn't related to work. Now, I do have a passion for work. I actually love this industry. I love what we do. So I can kind of appreciate the concept of voluntarily working a lot. But the key thing here is this technology, a lot of it requires a certain level of labor from your agency or from you. If you are the owner and the operator and you wear many hats at your place, then a lot of the labor is going to come from you. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not, highly intuitive. So they will require some sort of integration or data entry or something that may bog you down. So I often ask myself, what is the intended result of me purchasing a certain product? This is how I have stopped myself from buying things that I don't need. When you have an agency with one person, two people, three people, and you get a product that will send an email to 1,000 of your customers, assuming you can even do the integration. Maybe it's just a simple Excel spreadsheet or CSV file. Maybe that's an easy integration. You'll be lucky if you can find that. But let's say you send 1,000 emails. Okay. What percentage of those people are going to open the emails? Do you want to say 30%? That's actually pretty high, but why not? Because they might recognize your name. Let's say 20%. So that's 200 people. Now, out of that, how many people are going to respond to you by email? A percentage will, sure. But if you're offering them a cross-sell or a policy review or something of that nature, let's say that 100 of those people contacted you. Who is going to take those phone calls and the emails? When an email chain starts, people will expect responses from you. Yes, sure, you could sit on it. You could do that. You could wait to respond to them. But now, someone who hasn't contacted you for a while is going to think, wait, this guy or gal never responds to me. These people don't respond to me. This agent's not responding. Maybe I need to go shop my insurance. Wait a minute. There's another thing. Did you hear what I said? Maybe I need to go shop my insurance. When you reach out, there's a risk the customer will want to reshop things. Does that guarantee they'll reshop it with you? I think I'm being sarcastic here. Clearly, it does not guarantee that. But can you handle the additional phone calls and service? Many small agents that I talk to, and I have to say, I talk to quite a few agents. Okay, not only do I have friends in insurance, I work with agents. I work with retail insurance agents. So therefore, I speak to agents all the time. Sometimes we email. Sometimes they send me very funny experiences at their office. Sometimes they tell me on the phone, oh my gosh, I can't believe XYZ. But one of the top things I hear is, I'm so busy. I can't finish all this. I'm overwhelmed all the time. So is adding technology that will result in additional phone calls and additional contact that is not specifically targeted at new sales be a burden? This is a consideration. Now, if you're in a different situation, you're starting up, or you don't have enough customers, or you're actually not busy enough, that's a different situation. If you have a situation or a setup at your agency where you have customer service representatives or even service centers, if possible, to help handle all the service calls, that could be different. But when you're thinking about technology, perhaps instead of looking for a tool that creates phone calls, you would look for one that reduces them. So an example would be something that ideally reduces your touch points. Many clients actually prefer human beings. Okay. Now, if you're listening to this and you are much younger and you have grown up with the internet and you text everybody and you don't have personal interactions, you might think that's not common. But again, as I mentioned before, I am hearing and seeing a lot more phone calls than I can recall in quite a long time. So consider this. Suddenly, you'll be handling more phone calls than ever. Let me give you an example. Someone wants to purchase a business policy and they have a personal lines policy with you. They want to buy commercial general liability. Well, that could result in a lengthy discussion. That could require applications. Now, you could create a system where you instantly respond, if possible instantly or quickly or in a templated fashion. You could respond and you could send them an application or send them the information that they need. That's possible. That's great. But what you want to keep in mind is that you want technology that increases efficiency. It should save time, okay? Unfortunately, many steps are going to add extra steps, extra data entry, multiple screens, a lot of manual workarounds. So the goal of technology for me is to reduce administrative work, okay? If it creates new tasks, I don't think it's something I'm going to want. Number 2, automate what you already do manually. Don't create new processes necessarily. Streamline existing ones. Number 3, support how you sell. It depends on what you sell. Personal lines, commercial lines, niche markets, surety bonds, renewals. The tech ideally will match your workflow. What I'm not looking for necessarily is fancy features, social media dashboards, complex analytics. In fact, I bet if a lot of you looked at your analytics, you might be shocked and maybe not pleased. For example, you could say, how many phone calls am I getting? And how many am I answering? How many result in sales? Have you ever done that before? So these are key questions you want to ask. These are things I consider when purchasing new technology, and I have certainly spent money, time, effort, and created stress for myself by trying to integrate new technology. So in this world today, those are the things I look for. Now, earlier I mentioned that I have templated systems. I have many template emails that you could use, and you can actually find those on theagentspot.com. One more time, that's theagentspot.com. And if you go to the description, you will see a coupon code for that service where you can find templated emails, responses you can save in your email folders to send. If you can't do an automation, you could at least have them readily available. You'll see something come up and send them. You can copy and paste the cross-sell emails. They work for personal lines. They work for commercial lines. They even have some that are for surety bonds. So if you want to expand things you're offering, the Agent Spot also features a lot of talking points, scripts that you can use when you are on the phone, and simple explanations when speaking to a customer. For example, you might be looking for sample claims. A common question is, well, what is general liability? What does it cover? Do you have an answer that you can immediately repeat? Well, what if you had one already? So make sure you check out theagentspot.com. Like I said, in another episode, I'm going to discuss the recent increase in phone calls I'm hearing about, and let's talk about that. So make sure that you are subscribed. I really appreciate you listening to Planet of the Agents, the ultimate insurance agency podcast, and I will talk to you in the next episode, everybody.